Hi, my name is Ryan Johannson, and today I'd like to share with you the top 10 issues facing BC forestry and take a deeper look into two issues in particular. Number one, the pine beetle infestation, and number two, extreme number of forest fires in recent years. Over the past decade, there has been an unfolding tragedy in the forests of BC's interior. Our interior forests have been dealing with the following 10 issues: lack of native and non-native control, lack of government enforcement, government cutbacks, insufficient protection for habitat species, logging rates and clear cutting, continuous local mill closures, shortfalls in restoration, uneven playing field, which means loggers versus wilderness tourism, pine beetle infestation, and forest fires. As I mentioned, this presentation will focus on two issues in particular: the pine beetle infestation and the number of forest fires. This photo is the ideal BC interior forest on the left, and this photo on the right is depicting the destruction caused by the pine beetle. The pine beetle. It's the size of a grain of rice and is causing devastation to our forests. The phenomenon began in the early 2000s and has escalated rapidly for several reasons. Mild and above average temperatures in the winter leads to a sizable economic impact. With more and more trees looking like this, it means fewer jobs in the forest industry. Cold winters and the lack of food is the only way the pine beetle infestation can be reduced. However, with constant global warming and the seemingly endless amount of pine trees in the BC's interior, the pine beetle seems indestructible. Forest fires. The next key issue facing BC's interior forests has been the extreme number of forest fires in recent years. Every year, from mid-July to mid-September, BC is experiencing thousands of forest fires with significant economic impact. During this time, there are high water restrictions, maybe even drought-like conditions. Therefore, it makes it very expensive for the government because they incur additional expenses from accessing the necessary water supplies, employing additional firefighters and first responders, and paying for all the required resources, such as water bombers and fuel. Other impacts felt from the ever-increasing number of forest fires include the impact of tourism dollars, exploding insurance costs, and the safety of local residents and tourists who must be evacuated. The problem is, by the year 2040, compared to the late 1990s, the forest fires will last on average 30 days longer, happen 25% more often, and burn an extended 46% larger forested area. This is not a situation with an easy fix. With more and more forest fires each year, there is a significant impact on the First Nation culture. They have lost food sources, for example, berries and herbs, which no longer grow in the dead clearances. Not only is food impacted, but historic territorial boundaries are lost in the fires, which affect the cultural history of the First Nations in the region. In conclusion, I decided to highlight these two hot issues in forestry because they appear to act as an unstoppable tag team. The pine beetle is killing the BC interior trees, and the dry, dead trees lead to the tinder dry conditions and many more forest fires. Therefore, the pine beetle plus the onslaught of forest fires is a true double threat to our environment and to our economy.